Hello, everybody. This is Gerald Salenti, and it's Thursday, December 7th, 2023. And here are some of today's trends in the news. Again, the only magazine in the world that gives you trends analysis, trend forecast, what the world is going on, and what's going to go on. Remember, the trend is your friend. We're the only ones giving it to you, any place, anywhere. And of course, if you want to subscribe to the Trends Journal, you go to trendsjournal.com to read history before it happens. And again, the track record speaks for itself. Do we get it right all the time? Of course not. We're human beings, but we get it right most of the time. And nobody compares to what we put out. So on the economic front, the markets today, they went up a little bit. So CNBC says stocks rose Thursday, allowing the Dow Jones Industrial Average and S&P 500 to break a three-day losing streak. So the S&P was up 0.8%, the NASDAQ 1.37%, and you had Google parent Alphabet gained more than 5% as traders cheered the company's launch of its Gemini artificial intelligence model. AI, we own you. It was one of our top trends for 2023, and that's what it's all about. Yep. And in your Trends Journal, each week we have a special section on AI, brought to you by Ben Davis, who also does our high-tech science. So, what else? The job market has been a focus of investors this week amid a series of mixed data. So we had payroll data that came out on Wednesday, showed that employers added fewer positions. And the positions that they are adding are low paid. So we're going to have to see what happens. Job openings in October, by the way, they fell to their lowest level since March 2021 when you had the COVID war raging. And that's according to the Labor Department. So now tomorrow or Friday, they're looking for 190,000 jobs to be added. So why is this important? Well, because it tells you what the Fed's going to do. If the job numbers come in really strong, they may pause on, that's going to be the word on the street, of lowering interest rates come January, February, March. So, taking a look around the world, this is a top Wall Street Journal article. Clock is ticking on China's effort to stem local debt. China's trying to defuse a financial time bomb that could severely damage its banking system, okay? Each week in the Trends Journal, we have a spotlight on China's economy. Again, you go back to before the COVID war happened. We had said that the 21st century would be the Chinese century, and the 20th century was the American century. And the reason being that the 21st century would be the Chinese century because the business of China has been business, while the business of America has been war. And you know that guy, Henry Kissinger, that everybody so sad he died? Yeah, he was the clown guy that started bringing China into the doing trade with them. So all our manufacturing jobs started to leave America with NAFTA and China being brought into the World Trade Organization. So China's economy was booming. As, again, our percentage of GDP in manufacturing in America is only 11%. Consumer spending is nearly 70%. So they got all our jobs out of here. China was booming, and then all of a sudden, bada bing, bada boom, they launched the COVID war in celebration of the Chinese Lunar New Year, the year of the rat, in January 2020. And that was the magazine cover, the Trends Journal back then. 2 weeks after they launched the COVID war, we had, this is the big news all over the world, 106 dead in China. And our next line was 1.4 billion still alive. You're like, what are you telling me this shit for? The new Black Plague? So China not only launched the COVID war, they had 3 years of zero COVID policy. They destroyed the lives and livelihoods of hundreds of millions of Chinese around the world. So going back to this article, this is very, very, very serious. Yep. Let's see. Local government financing vehicles at the end of last year was equivalent to $6.9 trillion, representing about 13% of the bank sector's total assets, as this thing is going down. So this is serious. And again, you have to look globally. You don't look at just the little crap that they're putting out. The Wall Street Journal, I pay $5 a day for. At the end of the week, they don't even tell you what the markets did in Asia or Europe. Oh, the big news was the front page news that Charlie McCarthy, there was a little puppet by the name of Charlie McCarthy, a little McCarthy clown that was the House Speaker, is going to leave Congress. What the fuck do I care? I don't give a fuck if he was there or already left. But that's the news that you're shoving down your throat. And that's why you subscribe to the Trends Journal, because we've given you data that you can use. Again, people have been brainwashed by the crap. That's all they shove out. So over in Canada, there's a slowdown going on now. They say they're going to keep the interest rates at 5%. But we say they're going to keep lowering them. Eurozone economy shrank in the third quarter of 2023. This just came out, right? The GDP growth rate, the third quarter came into Thursday morning. It was minus 0.1%. That was lower than O2's 0.1%. It was up. So it's basically flat. It's basically dead. When you have 0.1% up, 0.1% down, the economy is dead. There's no growth. So now you take a look. Exports dropped 1.1%. Imports down 1.2%. Italy's economy was up. Italy's economy is in a recession. They just got out of it 0.1%. This is nothing but bullshit. These are bullshit numbers. France's fell 0.1%. Germany down 0. Germany's in a recession. And again, you look at the numbers. Want more numbers? Here we go. Germany's industrial production dipped 0.4% compared with the previous month. And compared to it, same time a year ago, industrial production's down 3.5%. This is Germany. This is the largest economy in Europe and the fourth largest economy in the world. So the markets are one thing. The reality on life is another thing. And the reality is, take a look at China, the second largest economy in the world. Take a look at Europe. Take a look at Germany. And you can take a look at where the economy is going. The equity markets have nothing to do with it. This is the kind of bullshit language they use. Indeed, industrial production data will likely contribute to Germany's falling into a technical recession. Yeah, no shit. Factory orders were down 3.7% in October. Traders bet on round of ECB cuts as worries grow over economic outlook. This is the Financial Times. Traders. How about gamblers? Yeah, no shit, they're going to lower rates. Buy now, pay later upswing strokes debt fears. Financial Times. Buy now, pay later contributed to $10.1 billion of online spending starting on October 7th, up 17% from the same time last year, according to Adobe Analytics. So, more than 90% of those loans offered up to a maximum annual percentage rate, you ready, of 36%. So you get 36% if you don't pay this stuff. Hey, we got the mafia. Hey, the mafia, they charge 10%, these dirty, lousy guineas. Oh, yeah, but the bankster gang could charge 36%. Oh, the credit card guys, the gamblers, the credit card crime syndicate, They could charge 30%. Hey, but the mafia, they charge 10%. What the hell's the matter with them? They got to become a member of the crime syndicate. Yeah, join the government. Oh, ready for this? Remember that arrogant little boy, the daddy's boy with the bad attitude, man? My daddy's the Getty guy. Oh, yeah, I worked for the Getty gang. He was a lawyer. I'm Gavin Gruesome Newsom. Close down your businesses. Stay home while I party at a restaurant up there at a $400 a plate while we lock everybody down and destroy the businesses. You ready? California budget deficit swings to a record $68 billion as tax revenues fall. Tax revenues fall. They got a 23% vacancy rate. Vacancy rate in the buildings in San Francisco. You left your heart in San Francisco? Yeah, you left more of your heart in San Francisco. The place is dying. You have an office vacancy rate around 40%. The French Laundry. That's where he was. I was at the French Laundry with my friends at $400 a plate for us. We don't have any masks on. We're all sitting around drinking and having a great time while you stay the fuck home and get off the beach. Look at the little shitheads that are fucking the world up. Calm down, Celente. Swallow their shit. Don't forget to vote. Meta IBM launch alliance for OpenAI. Google touts new AI as most powerful in sector. Google's new era Gemini AI makes mobile breakthrough. BlackRock clients to be offered AI tools. Again, look at your trends journal. What was the top trend this year? Barely talking about it at that time. AI, we own you. This is the future. Again, we own your mind. Repeat what we tell you. Don't think for yourself. AI is in charge. And again, you go back to your trends journal back in 1999. Dot-com bust. We're the first to call the dot-com bust. We said it would bust by the second quarter of 2000, and it did. Busted in March. This is different. This is real. So there are on-trend opportunities to take advantage of. Things are going to go up. Things are going to go down. AI is just going to keep on going. Keep on going. And new generations are totally, boop, AI'd. And what else do we have here? Roach to buy Carmat as weight loss race heats up. Again, we only mention this because each week in the Trends Journal, the bigs keep getting bigger, buying out more and more and more, doing away with the businesses. Oh, this is great news. McDonald's makes plans for massive expansion. They're going to add another 10,000 restaurants over 4 years. Yeah. Isn't that wonderful food? Oh, yeah. I love how delicious it is. Oh, and here's the good news. They're going to make bigger burgers. That's right. So you can blimp up, blimpitis. It's the way of the world. America's leading the charge. So keep eating that stuff. Junk food is great for you. Yeah. Blimpitis. There's your cover. Here we go. McCarthy to leave House at end of the year. Big fucking story to trim. What the fuck do I care if this guy leaves now and then? All right. Today is December 7th. Pearl Harbor Day. Before Pearl Harbor, some 80% of the Americans were opposed to getting involved in the war going on in Europe. But Pearl Harbor came, boop, changed. Oh, I mentioned the dot-com bust. The dot-com bust. You know what ended the dot-com bust? The war on terror. That's right. The little Georgie Bush with a pair of cojones smaller than a mothball, a stupid, moronic piece of garbage scum. We're going to get that guy Osama bin Laden dead or alive. Although Afghanistan had nothing to do with it, and we wrote in detail they wanted to have peace talks, and he wouldn't let them. 81% of the people swallowed his crap. Everybody forgot about the dot-com bust. Now let's go back to World War II. There was a thing called the Great Depression. That's right. World War II came. When all else fails, they take you to war. This is from this day in history. Mainstream site. United States freezes Japanese assets. On July 26, 1941, President Franklin Roosevelt seizes all Japanese assets in the United States. You know why? In retaliation for the Japanese occupation of French Indochina. Why, those dirty Japs? How dare they go into French Indochina when the French are in Cambodia, when the French are in Laos and Vietnam, stealing their rubber, stealing their tin, raping, robbing, pillaging. Why, those dirty Japanese? And as an American, what the fuck do I care? It gets better. Japan followed up by occupying Cam Ranh Naval Base in Vietnam, which was only 800 miles from the Philippines, where Americans had troops, and the British base in Singapore. What the fuck is America doing with troops in the Philippines? And the British, the sun never sets on the British Empire. We slaughter and kill people all over the world, and we're in Singapore. And again, don't forget to subscribe here, because you get notified. We're putting out what nobody else is putting out, so share this video. Nobody's saying what I'm saying right now. It gets better. President Roosevelt swung into action by freezing all Japanese assets in America. Britain and the Dutch East Indies followed suit. Dutch East Indies? What the fuck are the Dutch doing in Indonesia? What's wrong with you, Celente? We're stealing, robbing, and killing like we always do. So now the result. You ready? Japan lost access to 3/4 of its overseas trade and 88% of its imported oil. 88% of its oil. They only import 100%. Can't understand why they bombed Pearl Harbor. I don't understand. All right? You go on to the Israel war, same thing. 39 weeks of protests against Netanyahu's judicial reform. The guy, week after week, there's your Trends Journal from when Netanyahu got into office back in late 2022. We put week after week after week what they were doing to the Palestinians and Lebanon and Syria, ramping this up. Now go back to the protests going on. Isaac Herzog, the president of Israel, called this, what was going on with the people protesting week after week, hundreds of thousands taking the street, a civil war in Israel. October 7th happens, the terrible massacre created by Hamas. Everybody forgot about it, and they all united against Gaza and Hamas. Bombs away. Nobody talks about the 39 weeks. When all else fails, they take you to war. And let's go on to also the data coming out that we began with Phil Giraldi, former top CIA guy, saying Israel had the best intelligence in the world. They knew this was happening. And now the data is coming out showing that that's the truth. So they knew this was going to happen, and they let it happen. So, again, you got political freaks in charge, and that's why you need your T-shirt here. Hey, politicians, who the fuck are you to tell me what to do? And if you don't want to say it, you can show it on the back One finger speaks 1,000 words. So go to trendsjournal.com, shop, and get what you want. Again, I'm banned in the mainstream media, and one way my message gets out is through social media, so please take a second to like this video. Okay. And again, here's just some of the coverage of what's going on with what's going on in the Gaza war. Doctors Without Borders calls for pressuring Israel to stop attacks in Gaza. Data shared with Euronews shows multiple European states have supplied key weapons and equipment likely used by Israel's army in the offensive. Again, they're sending the United States, European allies are sending more and more weapons to keep slaughtering innocent people. Israel received 10,000 tons of U.S. military equipment since the start of the Gaza war. And that's according to the Israeli Defense Ministry. Israel's heavy bombs lay waste to Gaza. This is the Financial Times. And this is what Netanyahu wants. No peace. This is quoted from Financial Times. So don't call me an anti-Semite. Don't call me, I hate Jews. Save your crap. When I come out against America's wars, I don't hate America. If I hated Hitler or Mussolini, didn't mean I hated Germans or Italians. So save your bullshit. This is what Mussolini 2.0, Netanyahu, quote, "We need three things from the U.S." Again, this is quoted by Financial Times. Munitions, munitions, and munitions. All right? So this is terrible what's going on, and it's only going to get worse. Israel should be faced with war crimes probe over journalist death in Lebanon, and that's according to Human Rights and Amnesty International. Israel blows up main courthouse in Gaza Strip. And it just keeps going on. Keeps going on and on. But then you got bullshit Blinken, the little daddy's boy. Not little daddy's boy. It's one big club, as George Collins said, and you ain't in it. Don't you know who my daddy was? I went to Harvard, Princeton, Yale. Don't you know I'm one of the boys. I loved every war that I've been in the government with. Every war I supported, and I couldn't fight my way out of a paper bag, but I love it. I'm Blinken. Yeah, Blinken bullshit. Here's what he says. U.S. declares warring factions in Sudan as having committed war crimes. How about Israel committing war crimes? Why, you anti-Semite? What are you bullshitting me here? The U.S. condemns that in Sudan. You ready? Big story in the Wall Street Journal. U.S. charges 4 Russians with war crimes. They're killing fucking people, over 16,000 people, 70% of them, 40% children, 30% women in Gaza. We need peace. How about peace talks? No peace allowed. You talk about peace, you're a piece of shit. And speaking about pieces of shit, and we said this in the beginning, moving on, Argentina's new leader backpedals after his win. Big story in the Wall Street Journal. President-elect Javier Milei, known for a nickname of El Loco, Loco, crazy fuck, since he was a kid, it became a social media celebrity, blah, 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 blah. He's backtracking on everything. Backtracking on everything. It's a presidential reality show. The guy's a fucking clown. Trump, Biden, Bush. It's a reality show. They lie their way into office. Again, that's why we have these T-shirts. Politicians. Yep. Go fuck yourself. And who the fuck are you to tell me what to do? A lying piece of shit lied his way into office. And speaking about lying, stupid pieces of shit, this guy, Mike Johnson, who's the new House Speaker, Speaker of crap, House of morons. You ready? You can't make this shit up. House Speaker Mike Johnson compares himself to Moses at a Christian nationalist gather. You believe this? He goes on to say, the Lord began to wake me up. Lord began to wake. Lord, he say the Lord's talking to him. Oh, what Lord you talking about, scumbag? You're the little prick that wants to send more weapons of death to Ukraine. You don't want any ceasefire in Israel. What Lord you talking about? And shove your Moses shit up your ass. You're a little nobody clown, like the rest of the freak show. Again, these are the people that are telling us what to do. And we've got a lot more. Your Trends Journal is loaded with stuff this week, but here's another story. Students suffered biggest setbacks in pandemic. Yeah, no shit. We said this was going to happen, and it wasn't a pandemic. The World Health Organization called it a pandemic on March 11, 2020, when the grand total of 4,219 people died out of 8 billion. That many die a day, choking maybe. But again, it fucked up everything. The damage done by the COVID war is incalculable. So now, in ending this, I'm going to say the same thing I say all the time. People say, why do you do this? Why? I say, I want to get out of here on a high note. I want to know that I pulled a lot of shit in my life too, And by the way, no, I never raped a woman. So don't, back in 20, save your shit. I never raised my hand to a woman unless she wanted to be spanked. Take it easy. Take it easy. So anyway, I'm trying to do everything I can for peace, and I'm fighting for every ounce of energy that I have to do it. And this is from, in their last days, most of her patients, this is a report that just came out, shared their regrets. These are about people in critical care. The most common answer, according to this person was, quote, I wish I had the courage to live a true life to myself, not the life others expected of me. Others expected of me. How can you be so stupid to call these people leaders? I want to make this clear. I was not put on this earth to be led. I won't be led, and I don't want to lead. But maybe you want little Mikey Johnson, who said, he's been talking to God. God told him to lead. Yeah, lead you down a crap hole of crap. So thanks for tuning in. Check out the video I did yesterday with Judge Napolitano. It's a home run. It's a winner. Again, we're putting out what nobody else is. Go to trendsjournal.com to subscribe. And we're giving you history before it happens. Thank you.
At the Trends Journal, the best investment you could make, because it's the best investment into your mind, and it can change how you look at the world.
His work is actually a gold mine. Anybody interested in politics, political trends, economic trends, social trends, cultural trends, you have to follow him, Gerald Celente.
The Trends Journal is one of the greatest sources of information, and it really is. You're predicting these things well ahead of time. I would encourage everyone to go grab the latest copy.
Been a Trends Journal subscriber for 20 years. I just have to commend you. What you guys have put together in your latest Trends Journal, there's nothing like this out there.
Sir, everything that you predicted about the economy, you were absolutely right. So I have followed you all this time. So please take a look at the Trends Journal.
You correctly forecast that the Fed would hike rates quite aggressively, correctly said that initially gold and silver would drop as the Fed starts to raise rate to 1.5% and above. When we spoke last, Bitcoin was around 49,000. You said you expect to drop, and if it drops below 30, 35, then it could really drop.
Trends Journal, which I would encourage people to go and check out. It's actually a 200-page document, pure data-driven analysis.
Gerald Celente, the top trends forecaster in the world. Gerald, you had an interesting call back in September of last year. You said gold had bottomed, which is exactly what happened. And here we are, and we're above $1,900.
Subscribe to the Trends Journal. Read history before it happens at trendsjournal.com.